today we are going to be delving into finances just a little bit. So February marks the 2-year anniversary of us starting our debt-free journey. So in order to celebrate, we wanted to kind of do a little recap, a little video. Back in October, we paid off my student loans, and I did a post about it and received quite a few different questions and just general inquiries. And so I tried to kind of respond back to those in messages and things like that, but I thought it would be great to kind of like do a video and just kind of, go over all those answers just for everybody in general, because, some people might be too shy to kind of like ask those questions. So if you haven't seen the post or don't know, basically we paid off $32,000 in 10 months to knock out my student loans. Before that, we paid off Brandon's truck, which was like a $20,000 loan.
$20,000, 6 months.
In 6 months. So obviously those are kind of some big numbers, which, result in a lot of questions. So we just want to kind of address some of those today. Okay?
Let's do it.
Okay, so first question, number one most asked question is, what motivated you to start? How did you start? Why did you start? Yeah.
So basically, I took my truck into the dealership to get some routine maintenance done. They were busy that day, so I got a loaner car. And that loaner car had different presets on the radio than my truck did. So I'm flipping through them and just happened to catch this radio talk show where a southern guy's like ranting at this guy for being stupid with money, and I was like, here we go, this is awesome. Now on a half-hour drive home, I slowly realized we're not too far off from that guy he was ranting at. And it was weird because we always felt normal. We felt like we were doing everything else everybody else is, and
We felt like we were in a good place.
yeah. And by the time I got home, I was like a little bit worried, So I brought it up to Jolie, and she was kind of brushed it off because we were doing good. Like we're still making money each month. We're throwing into our savings account. Like, we're fine. And slowly over the next couple weeks, I think, if I remember right, I just kept whittling at her, and finally, I did our taxes, and we're getting like a $2,000 refund, and she asked what we want to do with it.
I was hoping for like a vacation.
And I was hoping we'd throw it at my truck loan, and so it was kind of a little sparring match there. And I just said, you know what, give me 2 months. Give me March and April, and we'll just hammer at my truck loan. And if you don't like it at the end of April, starting May, we can go back, we can save for a vacation, and have a honeymoon in July or something. By about mid-March, she was into it more than I was, and
Yeah. It gets exciting when you start to see those numbers go down. It gets exciting.
Yeah.
And I had done the budget after, we kind of went over it together, and I quickly realized that I was spending more money than I thought I was.
Yeah.
And that was really eye-opening for me. So it's kind of how we started. And I honestly kind of laughed. I was like, what's $2,000 going to do towards a $20,000 truck loan? Actually, it wasn't even $2,000. It was like $1,800. And he goes, I'm going to throw $2,000 at my truck loan. And I was like, no, you're going to throw $1,800 because I wanted to keep that extra $200 because it wasn't part of our tax return. And then when we ended up sending the money, I broke down and I sent the $2,000. Because I was like, okay, if we're going to do this for 2 months, let's do it. So we kind of started on a trial period and then got addicted to paying it off. So next question is, what is the hardest part? I think for me, it's patience.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it is exciting to pay things off. And then, so then I just want to keep sending money, you
Right.
know. And sometimes like we'll have different expenses depending on the month. We might have to put a little more at something else. And so that gets hard for me when I'm so used to sending like a certain amount.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a little bit of missing out on stuff is probably the hardest part for me. I got a buddy in the cities, and my friends from here will go out to visit him, and I'm always left at home. I never go. I missed a buddy's wedding out at Washington D.C. That was kind of tricky. That was hard. But you know, at the time we had to pay off a furnace. We had to get a new furnace. So it just didn't work out that month. But the next month we probably would have gone. But
Right.
the missing out on stuff is kind of tricky for me. But yeah, definitely you know, you're used to paying off a certain amount, and then all of a sudden your heating bill's a little higher, and it's like, what happened? I'm not throwing X amount of dollars
Right.
out of debt. And so yeah, patience is hard for me too.
Yeah. Okay, so another frequently asked question is tips to cut expenses. First thing I think about when I think about expenses that we cut was I reevaluated the grocery budget a ton. I didn't have a grocery budget when we started this, and I was spending $500 to $600 at the grocery store.
Mhm.
Probably not all on groceries, you know, just like random impulse buys, you know, little things that I thought I needed, or, you know, food that just kind of went to waste. And so we were able to cut that down to about $200 a month. So, you know, that's a lot of savings and a lot of money that I didn't even know was going out of our hands, I guess. So that's the first one I think of.
Yeah, and like, I always think of the little things. So, you know, it was nothing for me to spend. You know, I every week I'd buy a case of beer, and I'd buy like a nice, fancy 6-pack of something local, and that adds up. And then you buy chips and salsa with it, and that adds up. So like, you cut out those little things, and pretty soon you're down to, you know, one case of really cheap beer for the, you know, a month or 2 months. I can really stretch it out, and that cuts back on money. You know, I stopped going to the hairdresser and I have my wife cut my hair, and
He was very brave.
that cuts $20 a month out. You know, and all those little things they add up. You know,
Yeah.
and I think another one too is challenging everything. Like your cell phone bill. Like, there's so many different providers out there now. Like we had AT&T, and
Is one really better than the other?
there's Cricket
Yeah.
Wireless that does the exact same thing for basically half the price. Like, it was a no-brainer, you know, to do it, to switch over to Cricket. And then, you know, DirecTV, their prices went up on us, so we quickly cut them too. Like, right on the same time we switched our
Right, yeah.
phone service.
And I mean, was it a hassle to do those things? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But was it worth it in cost savings? Yeah. I mean,
I mean, going from
So-
150 to 50.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
huge. It opens up the budget so much.
Yeah, so 100% agree. I mean, and if nothing else, it doesn't hurt to call them and, you know, just talk to
Right.
them. See what deals they have going. I mean, the worst they're going to tell you is no,
Yeah.
you know. So don't be afraid to shop around for those things, even if you're comfortable in them. And then the next question is kind of, I don't know how to word this, but it's like biggest money disagreement.
We didn't really have one.
I mean, getting started was hard. You
Yeah.
know, that took a lot of like talking, but really like opening up our communication on that. I
Yeah.
mean, was really important for us.
Yeah, the first couple of months with the budget, there was really a disagreement. It's like, well, where's all this money going? Or like, you know.
Right.
It was trying to figure it out, but like took us like 2 months, maybe 3, and then once we got that figured out, it's pretty much smooth sailing.
Right. It took a couple months to get the budget down, and with Brandon's like challenge everything motto that he has going.
Yeah.
You know, I came home one day and I told him, I go, hey, I scheduled an appointment for my car to go in because my brakes are grinding. When I back out of the driveway, my back brakes, like they're grinding. Like it doesn't sound good. And you straight-faced said, are you sure they're bad or are you just being dramatic? And I told him he could drive my car and if he didn't think I needed to take it in. But
Like they say, if the brakes don't stop it, something's gonna. So
right.
yeah.
Yeah. But that was probably like the biggest like thing that you challenged. Like I figured, oh, it's a no-brainer. Like I'm gonna take my car in to get fixed. And he's like, but we're having a really good money month. Like
I just didn't want to slow down. I just really didn't want to slow down.
It's hard to slow down. So if the brakes go out, you just let it go.
But we fixed the brakes.
We did fix the brakes.
Yes.
And then they also recommended that I fix a headlight for like $400 and that I get an alignment for like $1,000. So, so you know, those ones we kind of push the brakes on a little bit. But what do you say to people who might make fun of you or you might feel judged by? I think that that's a pretty common thing for people to feel like, oh, if I can't go do this with my friends, or if I can't go and, you know, buy this, like, people are going to judge me, or people are going to think that, like, I'm really poor. You know what I mean? And I think there's a difference between that and taking care of your responsibilities. And I think that's an important, like, distinction to make. But basically, what do we say to people who we might feel judged by or who might question our methods?
Yeah. Well, you don't really.
I don't say anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm comfortable in my decision. You know, basically all that matters to me is that I'm happy and that he's happy.
Right.
You know, and we've talked about it. Like, if I were to die tomorrow, would we regret this journey?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No.
You know, because we know that we're leaving each other in a better place. And, like, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And like you're a little more emotionally like mature on that. I love the criticism. I love the competition. It's like the I don't know, the athlete in me. When someone like questions it, I just get like almost even more motivated. I just thrive off it because I love that debate. I love that like you know, why do you care about us, our money? You know, why do you care about what we're doing with our money? But like that debate, and it's just fun for me. You know, whereas you know you're more mature about it. You just kind of
I just brush it off. People don't need to know. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People don't need to have an opinion on what I do with my money.
Right.
You know? And if they do have an opinion, they don't really need to share that with me unless they're supporting me. You know?
Yeah. So if you're watching this and you haven't started it and you're thinking about it, you're gonna have some haters. You're gonna have some people questioning your motives every step.
Right.
But I think once they see the success you're having, you know, they're gonna think about doing it too, or at least like adapting small parts.
Well, and I think that one of the most common comments that we got, like when we right away we won't go out to eat, or you know what I mean, you know, we went a lot for that in our budget. And so people would say like, oh, you're so young, you just need to live now, like you're gonna regret this, right? And you know, we had laid out an amortization table of all of our debts. We laid them all out, we put together a timeline, and we're like, no, this is gonna take us, I don't know how long it was. When we started, I think it was gonna take us like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, right now we're looking at less than 3.
Yep, about 2.5.
And so at that point in time, we're like, no, this is 4 years of our life. Like, we are still going to be very young, you know, and we're going to have plenty of time to go do all of this, you know. But, so I think that was probably the most common comment we got. And we're like, okay, am I going to give up a handful of years of my life doing whatever I want for the rest of my life? absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to exercise some self-control now and then
Yep.
take advantage of that freedom later. So, yeah. And then last question is, what does your debt-free future look like? Are you going to celebrate? You know, all of those questions. Like, what are you going to do when you're debt-free? Like, and I think, like, seeing those numbers of our debt go down is really exciting for us.
Yeah, addicting.
Yeah. And so, like, I know that you're really excited for, like, investments and, like, learning more about that and seeing those numbers then go up
Yeah.
as we, you know, get into that phase of our life. So,
Very excited for that.
like, that in itself is a little bit of a celebration because it is exciting.
Yeah, like we still have a little ways to go on my school loans, but should be done here in a few months towards the fall, and I'm already like getting geared up for investing because I'm just very excited for that, and we're
We're a ways away.
probably a year out from doing that, real seriously. But I'm also excited, to travel more.
I'm really excited to travel
Yeah,
more.
you're very excited for that.
Yeah.
We haven't had a honeymoon yet. We'll probably have to do one of those. So,
But yeah,
all kinds of plans.
yeah, just being able to kind of take more advantage of those vacation days. Right now, I use my vacation days just to like get some me time and like lounge around the house or like do a deep clean of the house. I'm excited to use those vacation days to,
Yeah,
get away for a little while. So,
yeah. I think I want to use them for hunting or
Yeah.
state softball, and the rest I just cash out and take as a payment, So it'd be nice to actually burn them,
Mhm.
get away for a while.
Yeah, yep. So, yeah, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop them below. But just figured that since February is the 2-year anniversary here of us starting this journey and kind of having these conversations for the first time, we would just kind of recap over the last couple years. So thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, guys.